Morning. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. She out the front there is Bugsy Malone. We are the duo that make up Spurs Talk Show. And this is episode 84, guys. 84. Or maybe even 85 of Tottenham Walks. It doesn't matter. I hope you're happy, healthy, doing the things that you love with the people that you love doing them with. If you wouldn't mind, before we get going, just quickly smash the like on your way in. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and that notification bell, as it helps push out this video into the corners of the internet where other Tottenham fans might linger and lurk, and they may or may not enjoy the content. And it's important for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Keep dropping a comment as well. Guys, let's get going, shall we? 2 bits of news today, or talking points. One of them is AC Milan, the draw, the last 16. Happened yesterday. It's an interesting one for me. I think it's a pretty tasty affair. Antonio Conte is going to be licking his lips at the prospect of going back to Milan. Of course, he used to manage Inter and Juventus, so lots of rivalries that can be rekindled. He obviously knows the Italian game inside and out, and so it will mean a lot to him. He must be excited about this one. Can't wait to hear his comments on it next time he does a press conference, which will probably be today. For me, I was on an Arsenal fan show stream last night, and we spoke about the last 16. I think that depending on your persuasion and your loyalties, if you were to do a combined 11 between the Milan and Tottenham teams right now, when everyone's fully fit and everyone's on form, then I think you could make the case that Milan maybe just edge it 6-5, but some people would say Tottenham might edge it 6-5, but it's not a lot of difference. A fully fit, fully on form Hugo Lloris, I believe, takes the edge over their goalkeeper, but that wasn't a consensus on the show last night. Romero makes it into the combined 11 at the back. Milan take up the other 2 spots, or the other 1 spot, depending on the formation, and the wing backs. The midfield, up for debate. I think Højbjerg and Bentancur have a claim. And then up front, Dejan Kulusevski and Harry Kane definitely get in. For me, Sonny definitely gets in, but you do have to contend with Leao on the left, and he's going to be a major problem for us I shudder to think about the consequences of starting that game with Emerson Royal at right wing back and Eric Dyer at the right centre back. If that's the case, we could be in for a very long night in Milan. But look, we do have the window before then, and we do have quite a long period of time after the World Cup to hopefully get everyone back to full fitness. So if we can get Romero back with the correct commitment in his mindset and obviously be fully healthy, and if we can find the new right wing back in the January window, and hopefully someone we can improve on the left-hand side of Romero in the central centre-back, then I think we have absolutely every chance. And look, of the other draws, 2 of the other draws especially, it's very difficult to pick a winner. And both teams in both fixtures are one of the favourites to win the competition, in Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain, and with Liverpool versus Real Madrid. And so, if we can find a way to get into the last 8, you know that 2 of the favourites won't be there. And who knows? Stranger things have happened. We've had fortune in the draw so far. Maybe Lady Luck is shining on us in the Champions League a little more than it seems to be doing right now with our injuries and our, VAR decisions and silly mistakes from individuals in the Premier League. It is what it is. Plenty of time to talk about that. Let's move on to the Nottingham Forest game on Wednesday night. It's the Carabao Cup. It is by no means an easy tie, guys. We've already played Nottingham Forest at their ground earlier on in the season. If you recall, we won 2-0, but I think the scoreline was a little bit of a flattering because, much like most of our games, we gave up a few too many shots in the first half and took control of the game in the second half. But on another day, if Nottingham Forest were able to finish their dinner, we could have put ourselves into a tricky situation. Look, I don't expect much to change. in that regard. I don't think Tottenham are suddenly going to be able to turn on a different set of, tactics or energy boosters into the first half. Although, like I said in the review video yesterday about the Liverpool game, I thought it was one of Tottenham's best performances of the season, and I liked the fact that we were pushing up the field and defending with a higher line. And unfortunately, the consequences of doing that are that you're going to leave gaps in behind. And when you have a pair of wing backs and a trio of centre backs who, aren't particularly reliable for 90 minutes, then you are going to give up opportunities. But does the cost and the benefits equation figure out that it's worth doing it or it isn't? For me, I think it is. And I would like to see us do that more frequently. Even if it means we can see goals, at least we have the ability to play forward and create, especially now that Kulusevski's back. Do I want to see him play or start against Nottingham Forest, though? For me, no. For you, let me know. Depends how seriously you want to take the Carabao Cup at this stage of the tournament. We only have 2 games left before the World Cup break. So, obviously, Leeds, for me, is a crucial game to get us back on winning ways at home 3 days later. For me, I think that whilst I do want to take the Carabao Cup seriously and important, I think we should have enough in some of the rotation players to be able to get the job done. And look, there's 3 particular players I really want to see in the team, and they all happen to exist on the right-hand side of the pitch. I absolutely want to see Jed Spence start the game against his old club for the first time this season. If he cannot get a start tomorrow, I don't think you'll see him start for Tottenham Hotspur. I think he'll be loaned out in January, and who knows whether or what will happen in the future. It makes a mockery of the whole point in signing him in the first place. From what I was told, he was very adamant that he didn't want to join a club to then be loaned out again, and he was given reassurances that he can fight for his place. And look, if you cannot get any minutes ever, really, in essence, when you're competing with the lacklustre and volatile performances of Emerson Royal and Matt Doherty, and when those 2 are not available or so bad that Conte doesn't want to use them, he would rather pivot to a left wing back to play at the right wing back spot, then either there is a problem with Conte or there's a problem with Spence. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you. If we don't see him start on Wednesday night in 24 hours time, I'll be incredibly disappointed, and it will be another question to add to the list of things that I'm not completely sold on about Antonio Conte. In front of him, I want to see Bryan Hill start a game. I think he's been given some minutes, probably not enough, but when he has been given minutes, I think he's always looked busy, exciting, energetic, interested, and someone who's got a point to prove. And he's contributed with value, and that's something that you can't say about people like Lucas Moura this season. I don't want to rush Kulusevski back in. I'd like to have him off the bench if we need it. He can come on and change the game like he did against Liverpool and like he did and has done so many times since his arrival. And so, for me, I think that I want to see Bryan Hill and I want to see Jed Spence. Now, how are they going to play together? Who knows? But you never know. These 2 might just click with both of them with a point to prove and be able to create magic down that right-hand side. And if you're going to do that experimentation, you're going to do it tomorrow. No other time is there a chance to really do that when it's unforced. So, for me, that really excites me. Behind, on the inside of Jed Spence, I probably want to see Japhet Tanganga. Haven't seen him this season. He's a player that's been hot and cold with me. Sometimes I think he does really well. Other times, and more frequently of late, he's a little bit sloppy. But look, I've seen enough of Davinson Sanchez to know everything I need to know about him. I've seen enough of Eric Dyer recently to know that he deserves to be dropped. He needs to go and figure out whatever's going on in his head regarding his sloppy decision-making and his losing his cool or lacking concentration at key moments. And I think, again, Japhet Tanganga, might just come in and prove a point and elevate himself up the pecking order above Davinson Sanchez with a good performance. The reason why I think it's important as well is because there was supposedly some news that, you know, back in the summer, Tanganga was supposed to go to Milan, and that didn't happen in the end on loan or as a permanent transfer. And now that we have drawn AC Milan in the Champions League, I think that any chance of him revisiting that opportunity to go to Milan in January probably now won't happen, or is less likely to happen at least, because of the fact that we're playing them in the last 16, and maybe we're, you know, giving them a weapon, not just to be able to play against us, but maybe to give them insights into how we would set up and, you know, transfer those kind of keynotes, I guess, before the game. So if he's less likely to go to Milan, maybe he's less likely to leave, and maybe Davinson Sanchez would be the person that was to be moved on in order to make room for a Skriniar or a De Vrij, or take your pick of the names we've spoken about 100 times. On that basis, I wouldn't mind seeing Tanganga play. I don't know how much you guys are on board with what I'm saying so far. Let me know in the comments. But while we're at it, maybe you want to give Ollie Skip some minutes. I think he deserves a chance. He's looked bright and busy since he's come back from injury. And again, I think that these are the sorts of games where you do want to rotate. I'd like to see him play. I'd like to see Bissouma stay in the team. Following on from the best performance in his shirt against Liverpool, no reason to drop or rotate him. He hasn't got any problem with his energy or his battery levels at the moment. So probably a good opportunity to try Skippy and Bissouma, either in a 3-4-3 if you were to play with Perisic up front, Bryan Hill and Kane, or if you were to go to a 3-5-2 again, then you could still include one of Bentancur or Højbjerg. I would probably rest Højbjerg. He looked exhausted against Liverpool, and Bentancur still seems to have enough energy to keep us going, and he's an engine room player right now. He was brilliant against Liverpool as well. Obviously at the back, alongside Tanganga, you'd still play Longley and Ben Davies. On the left wing back spot, I think you'd probably stick with Sessegnon, and Harry Kane still obviously stays in the team. That's about it, guys. That's my formation. I understand there's a lot of rotation there, a lot of maybe risk and experimentation, but I want to see some of these players get some minutes, and there is no other time that's available for us to try these things out in competitive games. I do think if we have something like what I put out there on the pitch and it doesn't work at half-time, whatever, we can bring those players off, bring in the key men who can, you know, walk into a match where the other players are already tired, and then go after it. I also think that Nottingham Forest might also play a slightly weakened team, because they've got a relegation battle on their hands, and, you know, it might not be that important to them. I don't think they're going to go on to win the Carabao Cup, and so maybe, just maybe, they also go for a slightly weakened team. Who knows? We can talk about that tomorrow during the game. Like, share and subscribe, guys. Let me know how your thoughts are going on what I've just said. I'll speak to you soon. As always, guys. As always! Bye-bye!